for the virgins who want to get oil in their lamp. As Yeshua said, this is a very sobering and a very important time. This is the time to fill your lamp with oil, which is understanding, wisdom and understanding. That's what this channel is all about. So stay tuned for the upcoming video. I hope you enjoy it. Please subscribe, like, share, comment. It is time for all of this knowledge, everything that's been hidden, to go out into all the earth. Shalom. See you in the video. Hello, welcome back to part 2 of this particular series on releasing the keys, having to do now with metals. Who would have thought these had such good information for us? Now, what I want to do before I get into sort of the biblical words used for, I want to give you in quote unquote today's science, how this information is kind of coming back to us. Because, and the reason I'm starting is because it's so important to me, because we need to begin to, I think we're beginning to really understand what's going on more with this veil, as the Bible would call this veil, or this covering that is over us, which is really is the whole world. Now we're seeing this, the grid of AI, of artificial intelligence. The huge knowledge that's increasing and putting us all in this quote unquote worldwide web of communication, but on so many other levels. This is a construct, and it is a construct, an artificial construct, in my opinion, being laid over Elohim's construct of us, and it's using his same quote unquote technologies, or in his same quote unquote entities. All right, angels are forces. This is something we have to be able to flip-flop around in our mind. Everything in all creation is alive and has being. That's what, if you look at the words in First Genesis, everything was made into a living soul, a nefesh. All right. So I want to talk about how today, and I told you before in the last, how I was saying all these understandings are encrypted in very neat and tidy kind of classification systems. So when it talks about the human body and how we are a microcosm of the huge macrocosm, and the heavens are kind of our intelligences over us, all right? And they're not quote unquote artificial. Elohim made the heavens and the earth, all right? And he is in charge of things, it says, things in the heavens, things on the earth, things under the earth, and things in the sea. And that's another way of relating to all these different dimensions, all right? So I want to talk about, they know this, the body is a biological system, all right? It runs on electrical signals. And these bioelectrical systems that work all through us have many advantages over metal electrical systems, all right? We are a much more complex, even though this computer technology is awesome and those little bits can hold so much information. It's nothing can compare to the human body and our mind, our body, our soul, and our spirit, and our potentiality. Much of it is in potentiality, but nothing can beat it. And a big advantage in the biological system that we have, one thing is that it can heal itself. The body was designed, given the right parameters, to heal itself. Something that our ancients knew, something that in the last video I alluded to, that a lot of Oriental, Chinese medicine, they understand this. They use systems that allow the body to get in to heal itself. All right. Now, electricity is transmitted by electrons, always. That's what we know. No matter what the system, electricity is transmitted by electrons. And electrons come in two flavors. And this is so interesting. This is all science is saying, that the left spin and the right spin. Well, didn't I tell you that there was a right side and a left side that operate? There's a duality, there's a polarity that goes on, and then there is a middle pillar imbalancing, and that's totally what science in its whole torque, they understand the torque. That's what they're all saying and seeing. So nothing new under the sun. But superconductors will transmit electricity at the speed of light, almost with virtually none of the energy drain. That line resistance translates to with no drain of energy. All right, the more conductive the electrical line, the less power loss. See, now let me just say this, law of course. So if we're learning like copper wires and all these different things can transmit electrons, which translate into electricity, which translate into information, speed of light. Don't think that the same phenomena is not happening. This is the point in quote unquote the heavens. That's why our thoughts, we can have thoughts that almost go at the speed of light. I mean, how fast can you just think stuff? All right, they just come and go. It's like all this pinging going around, and a lot of people who essentially don't have disciplined minds. All right, now the human body, however, in the body does not transmit electrical signals at anywhere close to the speed of light, and they found that the largest and thickest nerve fibers inside of us conduct electricity up to about 500 feet a second. All right, now this gets into this whole that do we have energy fields around us? Is auras, this ancient concept of auras, a real thing? Well, lo and behold, science is there. Yeah, they're going to have, there is something going on. Not only outside of our skin, there are a couple more levels of energy, of wavelengths, of things that are kind of connected to us. All right. So quantum physics, and this is the concept between the soul, the body, and the soul and the spirit. There are different levels operating with us at different frequencies, at different wavelengths. All right. And quantum physics has proven that everything is energy. All right. So the brain uses special chemicals to produce electricity, which, if you equate to, is metals. All right, because I know that if you look at the conductor, how it moves, there's the wave that moves, but there's the particle. That's why they call it wave-particle action. You got the wave, but there's the particles that are moving with it. All right, so and it's the particles, the metals that attach to these electrical impulses. This is not really understanding the knowledge our ancients had in a lot of ways. And this is so deep, it has to be flushed out in every single level. The world of physicality and the world of Yetzirah, our emotions are part of this thing, our brain, how you reprogram, how you all right, I'm not going to get ahead of myself. I just want you to be aware, and this is something we know. The body uses these chemicals extensively in the brain and in each of the remote control locations of the spine. These chemical substances are also called neurotransmitters. And let's see, and accordingly, they are attached to psychological and emotional energies sent throughout the body as electrical impulses. All right, now this is stuff all science knows now and proves, all right? These biological neuron or electrical meridian, they pathways, these transmissions cause electromagnetic fields to radiate outside the body. All right, so this is known, all right, that we are, but again, a lot of the secular rationalists will want to say, well, it's all chemical reactions, that there is no connection to upward. But this is where I did a video that science is coming to this wall where it says every knee is going to have to bend. If you can't get out of your world of physicality and understand, there is definitely powerful forces behind what's going on. Quantum mechanics, they know stuff disappears and they don't know where it goes, they don't know what it does, and then boom, it pops up again. Okay, they're there. So if you don't understand that, Yahweh's got there's a couple doors behind this physical reality, okay, that are all part of the function of this thing. Then what can I say? So now we're going to go back. So our text would use words like gold, silver, brass, iron, lead, wood, and stone. All right? And there's a lot of now I wish I was a better scientist. I'm not. I am a theologian, and so, but I get the big picture. I think I have a correct understanding of what is going on. All right. There's always been, the ancients always understood that between language and philosophy and actually what's going on, there was no disconnect. All right. And they work together to try to explain and to try to participate and sort of harness this whole great cosmos ring. But I'm going to go do a blitzkrieg now on Bible verses. All right. So let's see if this kind of language is in the text and what to do with it. Because again, we're starting with the concept of the law of correspondences, and I'm going to tell you this is biblical. This is what Moses was doing. We know that Moses was told by Yahweh, you're going to build a tabernacle in the wilderness. This is, you tell the people, this is what I want them to do. And then through process of it, other people came on board who had great wisdom and understanding. And I think it was Bezalel, guy who totally was able to work with Moses on the level, this high level of spirituality, who got the correspondences. Because we know this, even Yeshua said, you know, he had to go into the temple in heaven and apply his blood on the mercy seat. So nobody's making this up. So in Exodus 25, in verse 2, I'll just start out here. Moses is telling the Israelites, you are to receive the offering for me from each man, those whose heart prompts him to give. These are the offerings you are to receive from them: gold, silver, bronze, metals, blue, purple, and scarlet yarn. Now, what I want you to see also here is actually this is coming forward from all the different kingdoms, which I told you there's another correspondence. You have the mineral kingdom, the plant kingdom, the animal kingdom, and the Adamic kingdom. All right. So here we are we're incorporating all of these different things are coming from these different quote unquote kingdoms. All right. So we've got gold, silver, bronze. We have blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and fine linen, goat hair, ram skins, dyed red, and hides of sea cows. Now we have acacia wood. We have olive oil for the light, spices for the anointing oil, and for the fragrant incense, and onyx stones and other gems to be mounted on the ephod and the breastplate. He said, now, so we know that everything, and when we get into the temple of Solomon, that everything, you know, the brazen sea and the pillar, everything was done as an archetype, and you can lay one archetype upon another archetype, and you can be getting the same, whether you like the temple, the Holy of Holies, the outer court completely parallels the microcosm of the body, and then up into the brain, up into the Holy of Holies, which is literally our connection, our meeting place. So you can get there, you can get into a position of meeting with Elohim. And it says here, it says, then they will make a sanctuary for me, and I will dwell among them. Make this tabernacle and all its furnishings is exactly like the pattern I show you. It's all specifically related to each other. All right. So let's just go as we're, okay, now I want to go to Enoch. I want you to see some now things, how chapter 52 in the book of Enoch, because a lot of times I want you to see this that's in Enoch and how it corresponds to a verses out of Daniel. And so that we're tracking, all right? These prophets are all tracking with a very similar law of correspondences, I guess you could say. All right, so 52. In verse 2, it says, there my eyes saw the secrets of heaven. All right, now, if you're familiar with Enoch and you understand that one of the problems with the watcher angels, where are the angels? They're in heaven. They understand the laws of the metaphysics of the heavens way more than any human being would, and they taught a lot of information. This is part of the storyline to the sons of men, which enabled them to kind of corrupt their ways before Yahweh. All right, but here it says in Enoch 52:2, therefore my eyes saw the secrets of heaven, all things that will be on the earth, a mountain of iron, a mountain of copper, a mountain of silver, a mountain of gold, and a mountain of soft metal, and a mountain of lead. Actually, if you add those up, I believe there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which relates, remember, the six. There's in Zerapin, which is made up of 7 Sephiroth. The bottom one is Earth. So sometimes it includes there, sometimes it doesn't. But if we're talking about the heavens, we're talking about the 6 Sephiroth, which is called Vav, which is called the sun. All right, S-O-N. All right. I'm just telling you, that's what back. All right. So it says here, and I asked the angel who went with me, saying, what are these things which I have seen in secret? And he said to me, all these things which thou hast seen are for the power of his anointed, that he may command and be powerful on the earth. So if you don't think the king has ability to orchestrate his, and this is why all of these Elohims and these angels are called servants of the Most High. They do his bidding. This is the whole point. And then the angel of peace answered and said to me, wait a little, and thou wilt see, and there will be revealed to thee every secret that the Lord of spirits has planted. Now, I'll tell you this secret. You don't need to go to the dark occult side to get the mysteries of heaven, especially only if you want to use them for nefarious purposes. You can have all of the secret of it just from your writings, just by becoming a righteous, holy elect Torah sage who follows Yashem. You don't need them. All right. Now these mountains which thou hast seen, the mountain of iron, the mountain of copper, the mountain of silver, the mountain of gold, and the mountain of soft metal, and the mountain of lead, all these will be before the chosen one, like wax in the presence of fire, and like the water which falls down from above on these mountains, and will be weak before his feet. And it will come to pass in those days that no one will save himself, not with gold, not with silver. No one will save himself or flee. There will be no iron for war, no clothing for a breastplate, and metal will not aid, and zinc will not aid, and it will not be beaten out, and lead will not be desired. And all these things will disappear and be destroyed from the face of the earth when the chosen one shall appear before the face of the Lord of spirits, the El Adonai. So what I'm telling you, it's in Enoch. All right, now let's go to Daniel. But one thing you have to see here, well, before I get ahead of myself, let's just keep reading these verses. So here we are in Daniel 2, 44. It says, in the time of those kings, we just alluded to that there would be a time. These are kings. Mountains are like kings. This is because, in other words, when they use the word mountains, a lot of times it's talking about that's just something that is so huge, imposing, powerful, dominating. I mean, mountains dominate the landscape. They are way above you. If you, especially in Africa, you see these huge mountains and all this vista of plain. I mean, mountains are like, you don't get any more, and they're equated a lot of times with the archangels and in the celestial realms. All right. So, in the time of those kings, the God of heaven will set up a kingdom that will never be destroyed, nor will it be left to another people. It will crush all those kingdoms and bring them to an end, and it will in itself endure forever. I mean, this is language we're all familiar with, but this is the meaning of the vision of the rock. All right, the stone and rock are synonymous words. All right, so you can, of the stone cut out of a mountain, not by human hands, a rock that broke the iron, the bronze, the clay, and the silver, and the gold to pieces. Now that is a complete overlay of what we just read in Enoch. Now let's go to in chapter 5 of Daniel, Belshazzar and his great banquet feast, when he thought he had really conquered the Israelites, and now he had them as vassals in his kingdom, and he brings us. So then he brought in all the gold goblets that had been taken from the temple of Elohim in Jerusalem. See, because everything that was for the temple was made of these same precious metals, or common or more base metals, okay, so anyways, and wait a minute, so they brought in the gold goblets that had been taken from the temple of Elohim in Jerusalem, and the king and his nobles, his wives and his concubines, drank from them. As they drank the wine, they praised the gods of gold and silver and bronze, iron, wood, and stone. And then we know the story. Suddenly the finger of hand appeared, and he said, basically, your kingdom's coming down. which is again, many times Elohim has had to reduce these mountains of gold and silver that correspond of influence, of power, of sentient intelligence, of sentient beingness. Nebuchadnezzar, this is the whole story. There's much of this.